Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another CNC Router Mixer. I'm Bill Griggs, and I hope that you'll take the time to come join us tonight and talk about CNC. You know, what's your project? What's your machine? What do you plan to do with it? How often do you use it? Do you need help? Any of these things would be great topics to discuss tonight. Um, we do this every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we hope you'll join us. Um, if there is any issue with you as you're trying to log in, I put the link inside the descriptions in the comments for this chat, and sometimes it doesn't always come through immediately with the right link, but you know, you gotta work with what you got. So hopefully that link is visible to you. I just put it in to the chat again, and you know, come and join us. Um, I know that it is time of year when folks are out and about instead of working in the workshop. But if you um, are one of those folks who enjoys talking about CNC, I would hope that you would take a moment and join us tonight because we have some pretty cool stuff. I got a chance to look at some new software, and I think it's very promising. And you know, I'll tell you what I can about it. Um, I have been mostly working in my shop this past week, trying to uh, finish putting up the LED lights that I started messing with last week. So that's been kind of exciting times for me, and it's also uh, helped me to rearrange some things in the shop a little bit. Um, so hope to get a chance to use a good portion of this. Dion Johnson, long time no see. Welcome, welcome. Glad you could join us tonight.
Hi.
Hi, Dion. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a quick minute here. Uh, you had just gotten going last year, I think, if I recall correctly. How have things been with your CNC ventures?
Well, it has been very slow. I've had some family matters that took a huge bit of my time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I recently got a planer, a DeWalt 13-inch planer. So that will help in terms of, getting from start to finish. Because I used to use the area clearance bit to
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of my plating. It works well when you absolutely want to go, but in terms of time, it really you know takes a big chunk of your
Yeah.
production time.
Yeah.
So that purchase was something I always dreamt about. So I was happy to able to get. So I was doing my research, trying to see which one was the best one,
Mm-hmm.
and I settled on this vault.
Mm-hmm.
It was is the 735.
Yeah. Yeah.
735. It has the two speeds. It has the two
Mm-hmm.
speeds. So I'm being very gentle with it. It's new. And I got the extraction hose connected
Mm-hmm.
to it. I don't have a dust collection system.
Yeah.
I've taken out a second with anybody. So I have like all the wood chips going out at a particular point where it doesn't impact on anything nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And
This,
so it's in the nature. Put it that way, it's in nature. And put
yeah.
it back in nature.
Into nature.
And
Yeah.
yeah. So it's where it started anyway, So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
I have the same planer. Um,
mm,
it has a fan in it that pushes the the chips out. So a lot of people will put plumbing pipe, PVC pipe, to a garbage can or something and just blow it into the can. But if you can just put it
Okay.
out the window to nature, that's
Mm-hmm.
fine too. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Hey,
So
Kurt,
it could do.
welcome. Yeah,
Hello, everybody.
yeah,
Hello, Bill, and hello, Dion.
Hi.
yeah. So I interrupted you. Sorry, you were saying, Dion?
Yeah. So that's one thing that's new. So I purchased some lumber. Well, the types of lumber stock we have here are Apamat, teak, sip, and or cypress. I think some people pronounce cypress, but it's spelled CYPRE. So some people may think cypress, but I think it's different um, types of trees. I think I
CYPRE?
mentioned CYPRE, sip.
Hmm.
We
Oh,
pronounce it
sip.
as sip. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a French, influence kind of name.
Mm-hmm.
And teak, I think I mentioned teak. We have
Yeah.
cedar. Cedar is the lightest wood that we have here right now. That's local, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like the most dense one that we have will be teak. We import purple heart and green heart from Guyana,
Mm-hmm.
which is not far from us.
I don't
So
think I've
those are
seen green
the
heart. I've seen purple heart and yellow heart. I hadn't seen green. That's
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So that those come from Guyana and they tend to be very, very dense. And then we have something called crapu that was more popular back in the days, but because they used to use that for a lot of the vintage type furniture. Well, now it's vintage, right? But dressing tables and classroom furniture was
Mm-hmm.
mainly made out of because it's extremely hard. But now you hardly get the crapo, you more get the apamat, cedar, and teak. Those are the three main local stocks we have
Mm-hmm.
in this country. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now,
So,
where you're in the Caribbean, correct?
oh, yes, yes. So we are just above Venezuela,
Okay.
Twin Island Republic. Trinidad is more like the
Mm-hmm.
economic part of the country where we have our central bank and our port and our airport, main airports.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have um, in Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
And then Tobago is more the tourist island where you have, a lot of beautiful beaches. We have a coral reef, an island pool, which is a extremely shallow area, which is in the sea, so you could actually stand up and bathe, and the water is very clear, and the sand is like almost white.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so there's a lot of fishing, there's some agriculture, farming in Tobago. It's much smaller than Trinidad. So the population on that island is about 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
The total population in our country is going up now because we have a lot of immigrants from Venezuela, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody have that immigration issue going on, but so
Yeah.
ours is Venezuela. But we estimate our population to be about 1.6 million. I think we are the we have the third largest population in the Caribbean. I think
Mm-hmm.
Haiti is the highest. I think Jamaica is the second highest. I'm not too sure about Dominican Republic though,
Mm-hmm.
but we are at least in the top five, you know.
Yeah.
And but I think Barbados is like 100,000 or 200,000, somewhere around there. Yeah. So we have some more populations in the Caribbean.
Yeah. I was interviewed on a podcast from the um, and by Angel Jones, and he's from Trinidad. So yeah,
Angel G.
yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't, I haven't heard about him. So what type of podcast is it?
He does 15-minute conversations. That's what his podcast is about. So he starts rolling and you talk for 15 minutes about whatever's on top of your mind at the moment. And he drove across all of the United States. It's been a few years now. In fact, he's had two kids since then, but or his wife has. But he drove across the country just interviewing people for the podcast. And when he came through here, um, we stopped. We did a podcast and then had a nice lunch at the Dinosaur Barbecue. Uh, it was a good time for me. Any, yeah. Um, he's entrepreneurship focused with folks who are doing things mostly. So it's a very cool podcast. Um, there was a reason I started saying that. Now it's as of course escaped.
Something to do with the population, I guess. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe it's just to make a reference to somebody who knows from the island as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The question I was going to ask you is what type of products are you making? Are they for local sale or for export or what are you doing?
Well, I'm still trying to like break out into the international market. As I told you, I've been away from the machine for some time. I just go in just to do one or two projects for some people who I know,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, um, I wish I could start importing. One of the things I think might be a setback, minor, would be if I'm shipping according to weight,
Mm-hmm.
right? So wood, you can't get away from that aspect of it having some weight compared to probably plastics or
Mm-hmm.
even what the first species I use is probably the only thing that compares to pine, which is a very light wood, we import pine, is the seed. I prefer to use Apamat and people use teak because of the fact that it doesn't it is not attractive to termites, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The teak is medium to high density, it has a medium to high density, and there is this oil content in the teak, so it will
Mm-hmm.
add to the weight of it. So
I know they use
I
it a
think,
lot for boats. Yeah.
sorry?
I know that they use teak a lot in boats.
Yeah, but now we have, I'm not too sure what they use now, if they still use the teak, because we don't allow a lot of the foresters here, they don't allow the teaks to mature where you get like the really
Mm-hmm.
wide widths. You might more get, well, from where I'm from, I might get on average like about 8 feet in width,
Mm-hmm.
which means you don't trees show all that much, but and I'm in the marine areas. Matter of fact, that's very attractive. Our marina is very attractive to a lot of people in North America because I think the price of repairing the boats is a lot cheaper than ship here. We have a marina with a lot of that caters to that population in Trinidad. And I think Bill Gates was here many years ago. He was here for some time on his boat. So I think I got a call. So I'm not sure if the audio broke.
Yeah, your audio is breaking pretty
Okay. All
much. Yeah.
right. So I'm using my phone. So I should probably yeah. So so we have a lot of stuff for boats, but I'm not too sure about what type of wood they usually use. But we have something which is a party mix. They use that a lot when they mend the boots here. It dries very, very strong, and sometimes I use it on my creations, especially if I want a strong bond, I use it from time to time because it's a very strong glue. They say that the wood will break before the bond that type of glue.
Yeah. I
It
think
has a lot of
if I remember correctly, you made a cross a couple last year or the
yes.
year before that was beautiful.
Yes.
That was in several pictures in the group. Hey, Tally, welcome.
Hey, how you
Yeah,
doing?
very good. Just talking with Dion about some of the projects she's doing. Yeah.
Hey, Deanna. Hey, Kurt.
Hi.
We're getting a feedback from somewhere.
Let me see. I don't think that's me. Hmm.
I'm gonna turn off my mic for a second and see if it's me.
Okay.
But you guys need to talk while I have my mic off.
Okay. Tally, how you going?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Yeah.
Anything new?
I think it's Tally.
You think it's me?
Yeah.
Hold on. Sure. Mm. All right. How about now?
It sounds good. Oh wait, it didn't. Hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what's. So I got everything on mute on here.
It's not me. I'm innocent.
Yeah, Kurt's mic was off when it happened.
What would that be? Let's see.
I haven't turned off my mic yet, so let me try my mic.
I'm gonna talk. I only hear the echo when I'm speaking, but I'm the host, so it shouldn't
Yeah,
have changed.
I heard it when I was speaking. It's gone now.
It's gone now. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
I think we're good.
All right. Excellent.
All right.
A little bit of crosstalk.
Yeah, it was. Dion, try your mic now.
Yeah, I just unmuted.
Okay, sounding good. All right, we're good.
Mm.
Yeah. So, in case you missed it, Tally, Dion's in Trinidad and Tobago, and we were discussing some of the wood species that they use down there, and also kinds of products that she wants to make as she's, working at getting her CNC business going.
That's nice. What wood was that?
This
Yes.
is it has a look like teak. When
Okay.
it ages, it darkens a bit. So this is Apamat.
Apamat.
Okay.
Medium density wood, and it has beautiful greens in it. Very, very beautiful greens.
That's a domestic wood there. Okay.
It's called Apamat. And it's one that is generally well stocked in a lot of the sawmills that we have here. And I like it. It's a preference for me because the price point is about $20 a square foot, compared to teak, which is up to $30 at times a square foot. You get the same look as the teak. Almost. It's a lighter shade of lighter shade. The teak is a more a brownish kind of appearance, and it's as I said before, it's medium density, so you could make furniture with it. It's not too light, it's not too heavy.
Okay.
And the price point is good But with the apple, you have the issue of termites. You know, it doesn't have any natural, it doesn't have any properties in it that is a natural repellent. So you have to use some sort of treatment on it if, you know, if you so desire to. Some people do, some people don't. The sawmills, what they tend to do here, they tend to spray their lumber, right? After they cut it, and then they stockpile. So most of the lumber that we get now, the Apamat is treated, right? So at the sawmills.
Okay.
If I do craft, I would rather not have it because, you know, I'm handling it. I may be handling it more. You don't know what they're using to treat it with. That's the next thing. You don't know if they're applying it correctly. So I would rather not have it. But, you know, sometimes you just have to use what is available to you. So therefore, you would want to go to teak. Now, teak is, as I said before, is more expensive. It has natural termite retardant properties in it. So that is an alternative for me. However, you have the price point, you know. So give and take, you have, you know, a fair amount of options with the local stuff that we have, which are cedar, Apamat, teak, and oh yes, I forgot mahogany. I forgot mahogany, right? And then we import pine. We import pine, and we also have purple heart and green heart from Guyana, right? So those are the main tree species that we have here, lumbers.
Oh, very cool.
And the most expensive would be teak and purple heart, and we also have crapo as well here too, but we don't have as much as we used to. Crapo is a very hard one. So a common practice in cutting trees here is that, well, not so much now, but they used to cut according to the moon. So I don't know if you all know about that.
No, I don't think they practice that. I think they cut as long as the blades are still sharp.
Yeah, if there's a tree standing there trying to cut it.
I don't think they practice none of that traditional. I don't, yeah, I don't know if we have a kosher meal work.
To do with the release of sap in the tree when it's cut, like the amount of moisture, and I think that would attract more termites. So they used to use that technique a lot long ago. So when you cut your trees during that cycle, I think is when you have waxing gibbous or going into a full moon. That is when you cut the tree. I think it's around that time. But it's some during where, you know, you don't get a lot of the tree sap coming up when you cut it.
I think because you're in the tropical climate that the termites are probably a bigger concern than they are for most of us in the U.S. in the colder climates. But we still have termites. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know how much they focus on that at the mills nowadays. I do know that any wood that comes into the country has to be sprayed and fumigated, and there's a time that it has to be exposed like that. It's not just instantly brought in. So that's expensive. Yeah.
Well, what else? What else we have happening here? Well, we import a lot of stuff, including furniture at times, because we have some sort of IKEA systems. I don't think it's IKEA, but something similar to IKEA that's flat box. Right? And you put it together, you assemble it together yourself. we have less furniture makers, less carpenters, because we have these big time furniture stores. Quartz, I don't know if you ever heard of Quartz before. And
I think I heard of that
one
one.
or two other stores that get posted powders and um, so the wood carpentry and furniture is not, the practice in people building furniture pieces is not as prevalent as it was, but people still um, like it because it costs a lot more, right? But there are some people who still want to have that rustic feel in their homes. You more find cabinetry in kitchens or
Mm-hmm.
find because of the tourist industry, you might find people might want to set up some cabins,
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the normal domestic consumer, they more go for something that is low price, um, and something that is quick and that is trendy. So um, you find that we have the imports coming in a case like that, and we have local upholsterers here too as well. So so we have some options available based on your price, based on your pocket, based on your style, what you like, and you could get a wide variety, but it's not as popular as it was, where people would more go buy a carpenter before. Now people you know use excise their consumer choice
Mm-hmm.
and the types of ranges that are out there now. Mhm. I was thinking one of the things that I wanted to do with the CNC, just thinking wildly at that time was, being able to do some kind of flat box system using MDF or melamine
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
to duplicate that system here. See if I could do that. That's one of the things I was thinking of early on, to
If you've got access to the material, I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
How big is your router table again?
small. So I was just thinking, well, mine is a 2x4, right? But I was just thinking that, the range of possibilities with the CNC, that yes, you could actually have some flat box system. You could have a flat box manufacturing company here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Metal Industries company, which is a, a training school, a trade school in Trinidad and Tobago, and they recently invested in this huge CNC machine. So there may be something coming out in the future. I don't know how long it will take, but right now they're introducing the students to the world of CNC. And I'm not too sure yet what they plan to do with it, because I know one of the instructors there. It's just that I didn't get around to ask them exactly what they had in mind for the tool, but it had not been commissioned yet. It was just delivered. And that was, I think that would have been December. So, and I haven't been in touch with the person since then. So I probably need to,
Follow up,
get a,
yeah.
Are
yeah.
machines expensive to purchase there?
Sorry?
Are machines expensive to purchase there?
The CNC machine I have, I bought it. I think it was in either 2015 or 2016. Mine is Axiom.
Okay.
It cost me, I don't want to misquote it. It could be around the 60,000 TT when I converted it. And then the shipping was an additional cost, because once it crosses a certain amount of money, you have to go through brokers, which will cost a lot more. Then it's not just to buy the machine. You had to have the appropriate wiring. And the learning curve was something that, because I didn't know anybody who had CNC machine when I purchased mine, I had to do a lot of the learning on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And Axiom didn't have a proper learner's manual at the time. And the software I bought was ArtCam.
Okay.
That was what they had at that time. And it's no longer, continued. It has been discontinued. and I haven't created any. So basically the Axiom, and I'm still using the um and so I was new to woodworking as well. That's another thing. So I realized I'm getting a call.
I didn't hear that last part, did
You're
you?
getting a call coming in, so it's interfering with the.
Gotcha.
All right, I was getting a call.
Uh-huh.
I was
Okay.
getting a call about that. Yeah, so I didn't have any experience in joinery. So I was hoping to partner with someone, but people weren't really showing much interest in it. The people, at least the people who I spoke with at the time, they weren't showing much interest in it. So the very first thing I made, what was it? It was art pieces. I was doing art pieces. I would replicate things that I saw online, mainly African pieces. That did well, right? And I settled into doing some drink totes, which is 6-pack drink tote. And I think I showed you already the standalone one that looks like a beer bottle.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
so those were, yeah, so those, well, I did some cotton boards that I designed on my own. I actually patented one of them. Not patent is not the right word. It is more of a design kind of protection. I forgot the name of it. Is not patent.
Copyright,
No, it's not copyright.
trademark.
Something to do with, it's something to do with design of a product, more in relation to the design of a product. And yeah, so I had two designs. One was called pitch block, where I have the cutting board at I think it was a 7-degree angle going downwards. Like I had a collection pool on my side. So if there are any liquids on the cutting board, it will run down to one section and collect in a certain area. So I know that was something that I never saw in a cutting before. So I figured that would have sold well, generate some interest. But I didn't really push that out through too much as things kind of slowed down in terms of my work. And I had to pick up with some other things that were going on. So I had to leave that alone. So I have somebody now who is showing a lot of interest. And I want to see how it goes there, because you really have to have somebody who sees things the way how you see, who's willing to take it to the level that you want to take it to. And it's not to say I want to have any extremely high goals there, but it could start off small and then you never know where it could end up. So that is, I'm feeling a little bit more excited now about having that companion, being able to source out some ideas on and help with a lot of the work, because I do everything from concept to design to production to outsourcing to marketing, selling everything. And I find it is way too much for me. So it will be interesting to see how things go forward from 2% charge. So I think I would listen in for now. I'm gonna charge your phone, but I'll be listening in.
Okay. It was good catching up with you, Dion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent. It's nice to hear from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably come back to chat again, but I just want the phone to charge up a little while.
Sure, that's fine.
You may need me for a
Yep.
little bit, but I'll be
Yep.
here.
Okay.
Well, what else? What else been going on? I saw you had posted Bill that you did a little flying.
I did. Yeah, I've done some flying past week and been working on a couple of planes. so that's been fun. It's the right season for it anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I've been working. I've been working on the lights in the workshop.
Okay.
That's been the big thing. I've also been looking at the new software that update that came out from Vectric,
Okay.
and I'm also doing some beta testing for a product that will be out soon from Lightburn.
Yeah. All
Uh,
right. Yeah.
yeah, so
Can you talk about
that's
it briefly?
I can talk about it in the fact that it will be for CNC routers,
Okay.
and they've already come up with a name for the software, which I don't think is private, but I need to go and check before I
Okay.
go too much deeper. Um, it
Oh,
it's pretty cool so far. There's one or two things that I would hope that um, would change, but I haven't finished the email to the the company to let them know what those things are. So it wouldn't be fair, but most everything is seems to be working,
right.
which is really good. And I there's a couple of everything would be like nitpicking, but not nitpicking from the point of functionality. I mean, you get the software and you would think, yeah, okay, I can do this. But if this particular thing, this one drop down or this one input box did this instead of that, then it would be perfect. So I have a list of things that I write down just as I come to them because that's
Okay.
the best way. You know, what happened here when I did this, it did that. When
Right.
that's the information that the programmers aren't likely to stumble across or notice actually,
Mm-hmm.
um, because they already wrote that and they solved that, and they may not ever go back and use that again to find out, hey, that only shows this when it should show this and that,
Right.
or whatever. I know this is very vague,
Well,
but
I
yeah.
understand. Yeah. I mean, and like it's probably, they probably looked at a lot of software to mimic, I would say,
Hmm.
uh, and for them to kind of just jump into it. I'm wondering what for they research and development. I'm wondering what
Yeah.
machines are they using.
Yeah. It uh
They're
it
based
doesn't
off of.
it doesn't really seem to mimic anything. I mean, let's say for instance, if you were comparing it to uh, I'm not even really sure where to throw it in here. Let's say VCarve for sake of argument because that
Okay.
comes to mind. If you were comparing it to that, it doesn't operate in the same way.
Okay.
It has some features that VCarve doesn't, and vice versa. It is from the bottom up a new piece of CNC software. And I think I can say this. If you're familiar with Lightburn already and some of the thought process that goes behind that, then I think you will be very familiar with this and it'll be a very easy
Okay.
transition. Um, but most of the stuff I'm doing doesn't really require the manual.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Well, if you want to talk off the air, maybe I can discuss it with um, uh, the uh, the programmers. Maybe one of you would be interested in getting in the beta
Yeah,
testing on
I
it.
would definitely like it because
Yeah.
I like to see, as far as like who are they targeting? Because I know Lightburn is pretty much it has a wide selection of users, but at the same time, their platform is narrow. So it doesn't act as a print driver per se, like
Hmm.
Epilogue or whatever. So they're kind of in their own category. So when they're doing this cam,
Hmm.
are they gonna open it up to a lot of controllers, or they'll stick to the Gerbil type controllers?
There's some of that, and that's a great question. And there is some of that. Like there's definitely support for Garble. There's definitely support for Linux CNC, for
Okay.
instance, UC CNC. I don't know what else they're going to add, or if that is, the direction they're going. Um, so, but the good news is uh, the CEO has agreed to either come on by himself or with one of his guys who could say, yeah, 3.473
Okay.
is the answer to
Right.
whatever your question. So he's agreed to come on one night with us and share about that. We can ask him anything at that point,
That'll be
um, whether he will answer,
right. Right.
uh, you
Right.
know. But from all my experience with him, he'll answer, or or he'll say, I can't answer right now, but this and this and that, and
Mhm.
draw your own conclusion from what I said. So he's usually a very straight shooter. So I'm I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to
that'd
having
be
him.
nice. I like the versatility now that we see a lot of software, just in the last month,
Hmm.
I've seen a variety of software that I've never even heard of that never hit the market. And I told you about one that
Yeah,
I tried. It had some good features in it, but it was just so slow. It was
yeah.
just too slow. Like I don't know if it worked on 32-bit or it worked on 16-bit, but it was just
Hmm.
it was just too slow. Um, to
There,
work.
yeah. Um, One of the things that is cool about it is it has you setting up the stuff before you get going too deeply in the software.
Mhm.
So like, things like clearance heights and other things. Um, and there's so many things that you take for granted that a person knows when they've got a CNC
Right.
machine. They have a feature that holds your hand. Um, I think I thought it. So because I am the way I am. First, I manually set it up, and I saved those settings, and then I went back in and did another variation because you can save more than like I have a Joe CNC router, and
Mhm.
I have also a Stepcraft router. So I did a different profile and then went through the thing. But that time I used their special feature, which helped my hand through the process. And I don't know why anybody would set it up manually after that and using that. So it went very well. So I'm excited to see what comes next because this is again this is a beta pre-release kind of thing, so um it's not the final version by any stretch of the imagination, but it's very encouraging, and
Mhm.
it's very nice to see options out there. um and some of the things you've asked about I have written down to ask him already,
Mhm.
uh but you know it is what it is. Um, I can't wait to see the new version. So there's also a new version of Lightburn that's almost out.
Okay. I haven't used Lightburn. I've seen it. I've seen the interface to it. Um, I never really had a need for it because I can't use it. I don't
What
have
do you
any.
mean you can't use it?
I don't have anything that'll run it. Like unless it runs a plotter. My laser doesn't won't recognize it.
Okay, you've got
Epilogue.
a what?
Epilogue.
Epilogue? Yeah, you've got an epilogue. And
So they don't.
what is the controller? Is it a Ruida or no? Epilogue's own.
They have their own print driver. So when I set up my print driver, I tell you what, I'll show it to you. Hold on. Let's do
Aaron, let me enable sharing.
let me see something. Let's do
There we
something.
go. Yep.
Yeah, memo. Where
I
is
yeah, I wish I was allowed to just go ahead and show you.
it?
I probably would not get in, in deep kimchi or whatever, but I'm not going to do that. That's
Let's say, hold
uh,
on. Give me a moment. Let me just set up something quick. Um,
I probably should have never even mentioned it. That,
I, well, I mean, we get it. We get it.
yeah, it was like, oh, there's so much I can't tell you. But
All right. Can
yeah.
you see it? Can you see my screen?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, for instance, I'm just draw a square. Okay.
Yep.
Um, so in here, matter of fact, let's duplicate it. I'm gonna do it. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So in here, it's pretty much what my screen is. What you see is what you get on the laser.
Hmm.
So my laser is 0000. So if I print, it brings this up. Then I come here. Okay. So it works just like a print drive,
Hmm.
like you would just send it to the printer.
Sure.
But if you open to the settings, this what comes up.
Okay.
Okay. So you can control your resolution from here. You control whether you want to do a combination of vector or raster. Um, and then your raster settings here, grave directions, whether you want to do from bottom to
Hmm.
up or top to bottom, and then your filtering, whatever filter you want to choose. So I'm
Hmm.
sure Lightburn has the same to a certain extent. Um, I I just want to say most imported machines they don't go by resolution. They go by scan gap, which is it's pretty much the same. You just have to convert it. Um, it's almost like imperials and metric. And then you
Hmm.
have in advance, you could choose basic, which all it would do is just go whatever the colors that you have,
Hmm.
different shades of black. If you're doing grayscale, then you will put it in 3D mode. And what it would do, the controller will just automatically give 100% power
Hmm.
and it will dictate how much it will use for the darkest color to the lightest color if you select that.
Hmm.
And then right here are some of your settings, in case you just have certain settings. Like I had to do some what was it? Some leatherettes, and it took me a while to get the settings right for them.
Hmm.
So I set up 3 different settings to get it just right. Which
Hmm.
that's what
Here,
it's
I'm gonna.
supposed to look like.
Yeah, yeah. You might want to hold that up after you're done sharing
Oh,
screen so
oh,
folks
okay.
can see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, and then your color mapping.
Hmm.
So it's pretty much the same. So you know the color mapping, you can just assign whatever color, what power you want, whether you wanted to do a vector or whether you want to do raster.
Hmm.
So that so that's how that work in
I
Corel.
see.
And
Hmm.
then they have what they call a job manager, which is independent. Um, but you can save anything that you have done in this job manager. So if you decide you want to run those back through here, you select it and you can send it right to the laser. And you
Hmm.
can set up the same thing from different materials.
Hmm.
So each one of them have their own settings. So that's how pretty much that works. Um,
So, I did a quick Google search to try and find out if there was anything had changed with Epilogue and Lightburn. And this is a post from 23, so it's a
mhm.
couple of years old. Uh, and it says, people are talking about the fact that the two are not compatible because Epilogue has their own proprietary driver, etc. And then, um, so they explained that, and then there was a question that said, "Would anyone else benefit from having Epilogue hardware supported by Lightburn?" And it was asking for upvotes. You know how that works,
Mhm.
And there's a thing here from Lightburn. I'm assuming because their logo is there,
Okay.
and it says, "I realize this is a huge undertaking, and I'm sure you are very busy with your current support. But from what I've seen from other lasers that can use it, you know, it would be worthwhile." So they closed that one after 30 days, but that was 2 years ago. I do not know if anything has changed on that, because as of last year, 2024 in October, they said, unfortunately, there is no Lightburn native support for Epilogue devices. I know these machines are hard to develop for due to their proprietary drivers.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. Um, I'm trying to find anything newer, but it doesn't look like there is any. Ooh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I think I wrote them a few years ago.
Yeah, I don't know whether Epilogue is it's a big company. They've been doing things the same way for years. I don't know whether that it would be in their. Well, it would be in their interest, but I don't know if they're ever going to do it to support
Yeah,
light. But
yeah,
pretty much many, let me put it that way, laser manufacturers do support it, um, because you don't need the Corel Draw for it because you can do your design work in it, or you can import your Corel Draw stuff in it, or however you want to work,
right.
you're able to do it. Um, but really, just a matter of if you were to pick up an old Epilogue somewhere used, and
Yeah,
and then a controller that's compatible with it, and you did the swap out. See, that's nothing for the three of us to
yeah,
tackle. We could do that.
right.
Then you'd have the best of both worlds. You'd have the
Yeah, like
Epilogue. Yeah,
the EX model, the TT model, the
yeah,
small one, like
yep,
before the mini. Yeah.
yeah. Yep. So, I mean, some people, would go to that length, but there's also probably zero chance that you would ever get warranty work. But if you're already modifying a used machine anyway, there probably was no warranty left anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it would be interesting because that's what kind of steered me into Epilogue because at the time I was dealing with Adobe
Mhm.
Illustrator, Photoshop,
Sure.
and switched over to Corel.
Mhm.
But all of them, whether it's Tech, Universal Lasers, Kern Lasers, all those were able to print from any software. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It because they had their independent print drivers.
Yeah.
They didn't need no type of bridge type software.
Yeah. Um, the old LMI laser engraver that I had printed just like that. It
Hmm.
was the same kind of thing. It was a print driver. Everything was treated like a print driver because that was simple.
Right.
Printers had been figured out for almost a decade by the time most of these lasers were made. Um, and so they went with what was easy.
Hmm.
Um, but now with Arduinos and BeagleBone Blacks and all those other microcontrollers and everything, Ethernet's motion control devices and everything, now you can, sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. I
Right.
mean, it's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. See the two directions that the technology went in. Um, and some of the big laser companies jumped on board, and some didn't. Like I'm pretty sure Thunderbolt lasers, for instance, and also Eon lasers are both light burn
Oh yeah,
compatible
absolutely.
machines.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know if any of the big American brands
Mm-mm.
are at the
I don't
moment.
know one. I don't know any of them.
No.
But I
But
know any of them with that. What is it?
Urita there, I think it
Yeah,
is. Yeah,
Rita, yeah. Any
yeah.
any of those, if they have that controller,
Hmm.
uh, they more likely they run off a light burn,
Yeah. You know,
which is good because that
yeah.
opens. Cause when I had my first Chinese later, it was what was it? Litro? It was some type of controller, but it came with a I don't even remember the name of it, but it was really you only can do it in metric, and it wasn't the best because you
Hmm.
had to import laser cut. That's what it was. It was laser cut software,
Hmm.
and it wasn't the best at all. Um, by that time, I had totally just got out of it. When Lightburn came about, I mean that was like heaven sent
Hmm.
for the Chinese lasers because
Hmm.
it gave you that capability of working in that interface like Inkscape or Adobe or whatever.
Hmm.
So you had them features because it was just a mess to try to work out of laser cut.
Yeah. Well, they. I know I'm talking about this quite a long time here tonight, but um, watched Lightburn coming on from the side, uh, mostly because my laser at the time wasn't working,
Hmm.
and so I in the process of there was one of the guys in the Joe CNC forum. I'll think of who it was in a minute, but he had taken got a laser tube, got some stepper motors, got one of the Ruida controllers and some 8020, and he built his own laser. I don't know if you remember who it was, Kurt, but around that time, when he came out with that laser, he made the plans available. And you for really chump change, you could just go buy a set of his plans, and it gave you a bill of materials, and you could build this laser. And I was very seriously thinking about doing it. And Lightburn was just coming out, and Lightburn worked with that. And I was thinking about, instead of taking the glass tube, taking the RF tube out of my old laser and just doing that. I found out that the Ruida controller would actually do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's a different way, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but before it can laze, it has to have a tickle charge or trickle.
Yep.
Yeah, tickle. Yeah, I can't remember which it is, but it has to have that before it can laze. And if the controller doesn't support that, you're not going to be able to use it.
Yeah, it excites the molecules.
Yeah. Yeah. What is the proper term? Was it tickle or?
I think it's called tickle. Because mine went out like 2 months after I got it. It was just bad, and they replaced it. And it's you can actually go into settings and you could turn it up and make the laser fire quicker. If if it's kind of it deviates sometimes as the laser get older, it's almost like like welding. You try to get that first arc going. If you don't, then you don't get that spark. You have to kind of turn up the frequency so it'll get that arc going. And it went out. And then they just replaced the laser. But once you get it tuned, I mean it's good to go.
Yep. Yeah. So that's how I found out about all this stuff anyway, because I was thinking about another project.
Another project. Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. So the library in the nearby town has a maker space, and they have a laser there, and they use both Lightburn and CorelDRAW there to do things there. So it's it was my first exposure really with it. So there you go. So anyway, moving on. I'm not turning this into a Lightburn commercial, but
no, it's interesting.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, because I first heard about the actual TAM back. Dang it, what show that was? It wasn't the IWF. It was a show after the IWF. It was like for content creators. They had in Atlanta, and
I know the one you're talking about.
And it was talked about then, but nothing never surfaced. I think they just discussed it at that meeting.
I think that was at the woodworking show. They had a bunch of content creators show up there. I met Scott Lindsay there, and Dave Gatton was there, and Jimmy DiResta was there, and Izzy Swan, and yeah. So I can't remember how many years ago. This is before the pandemic, so it's been a while since.
This was just maybe 7 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, sounds about right. I know they've had several of these since then. I just in this particular one, it was the first time a bunch of us YouTubers, well, I'm a former YouTuber really, got together and actually met. So it was really kind of cool. Lainey Shaughnessy was there, and Joel Crawford has he's the guy who makes the Spartan knife tray. It's like a shield. There's a Trojan with a shield.
Yes.
All the knives sticking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was his product. Anyway, he had his little. He opened up his uh, warehouse slash workshop, everything, and had a party there and brought all the content creators there. It was
Oh,
fantastic. It was yeah. I'm so glad I went because I almost didn't, but it was fantastic. I'm not a basically I seldom go to parties or
okay.
those things, and I just yeah, socially awkward maybe. Uh,
No, no.
yeah, no, hard to believe, but true. Anyway, I went to that and had a blast, and it was just nonstop maker cool, oh, I did such and such. Oh, really? I got this, and then pull out their information. And if you were discussing a problem that probably got solved that night right there from five different
Okay,
people who were just happened to be walking by.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. Um, he's invited me back. Uh, I need to go. So, next time I'm down the Atlanta way. But it was fun. It was fun. Um,
It's great that the shows are coming back. I'm glad to see these shows are coming back and
yeah.
um
Yeah, they just had the knife show in Atlanta last week.
a knife show.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's the one John Grimsmo goes to every year.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would have loved to go there. That would have been nice.
I think, excuse me, it's called Blade Show.
Blade
Let
show.
me get it right.
Okay.
Yeah, but essentially all these knife makers come there, and show their knives off. I mean, Grimsmo makes $1,000 pocket knives that are amazing, all
Right.
CNC'd up and everything. And he also makes a pen. I don't know how much the pens are, but they're probably through $300 or $400 per pen.
Hmm.
Uh, but they're titanium, they're unobtainium, they're uh, you name it. He's got special metals of all
Yeah.
kinds in there, and he makes every part that goes in that knife, with the exception of the um, actual ceramic balls that go in the ball bearings. But he makes the races that the balls fit into.
Oh, okay.
You know, he orders up a little jar of these ceramic or whatever they are ball
Mhm.
bearings, and you have $4,000 worth of ball bearings in a little food baby food jar. But it's just amazing what he and his brother have accomplished at their knife making company. They started with Tormach milling machine. Uh, well, actually, no. Before that, they had like a Grizzly,
Oh,
you know. But they got the Tormach, they built up, they started making knives, and they got so big they had to move out of that place, and they moved into this little shop, which is where I saw them when I
okay.
went to Canada 5, 6, 7 years ago, and it was just John, his brother, and his father-in-law were working there in this little shop, and they had machine. There was like very little room to move between these machines, but he had just come to the conclusion that he was going to move away from the beginning level machines like the Tormach
Hmm.
and everything into commercial machines. And he had a Nakamura lathe. I think it was Nakamura was the lathe. Um, he had a Tornos um, Swiss lathe, with all the attachments, probably 10 different axes or whatever
Hmm.
going on. Uh, he had just ordered but not yet received a Kern um, milling machine, and the robotic system to drive it. They grew,
Those top of the line.
yeah,
Yeah.
they outgrew the space. Across the street, another company had just given up a lease on a building it was two buildings, they went, they looked, they moved everything over there, and then they took delivery of the, you know, the kern, and um, they had the tornos, and then they got a couple of, somebody gave them two milling machines that were identical, but they it didn't work out. And they also got a what is the one I want to talk about? Anyway, this particular one has a vise that rotates 90 degrees, and it
What?
has a head that does the full, you know, so whole bunch of axis. It's a Williman. That's the name of it.
What is it?
Williman. And
Willem.
yeah, yeah, and my gosh,
I
what
never
a,
heard that one. Yeah.
so I don't know. I think he's about up to about 10 to 12 employees now
Nice.
from that original start. And they're doing very well because he is meticulous. He is meticulous. He figures out things that nobody thinks about. And if he can't make it happen, he'll write a program to make it happen, you know, a
Mhm.
subroutine or just amazing, amazing shop. I'd love to go back up and visit again. Um, uh, yeah,
You
he's
say he's in Canada?
yeah, he's in Toronto,
Okay.
and I gotta say it's been amazing to watch what they do. Um, I'll throw a link in the chat for his YouTube channel. You can see the stuff he's up to now. But I remember I started watching him when he was still in the garage and there was no lights. You know, you could dark videos and everything. But you know, he was grinding the knives by hand, and yeah, it's come a long way. Um, but yeah, it's amazing some of the stuff that he's done and is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I put Kurt to sleep on that one. But yeah, um, he also has a router there. I forgot the router. He
Okay.
he makes the foam inserts that go into the little pelican style cases that they put the knives in, and
Oh,
and he cuts out, you know, the foam on the router for a whole bunch of those, and he pops in the case, and then he um, it's just a totally different presentation when you get or see one of his knives. I'm not um, fortunate enough to own one, but I saw him making them at the
hmm.
shop and what goes into it. Because I mean, there's a certificate of authenticity in there. There's an inspection list. There's special oil that they use to do maintenance on it. Special tools to take it apart and put it back together, and all of
Wow.
this stuff inside of the knife case. And you know, um,
I'm about to check him out. I'm gonna definitely have to check
yeah, yeah. You had stuff like Damascus steel blades. I'm
him.
gonna see if I can find their website just really quick, but it's uh it's really amazing. And he and his brother Eric are just really great guys, and I enjoyed talking with him. Um, this is his latest. Well, they just changed it away, but that's the box I was talking about that their
Oh,
knives comes in. The Fial is their latest knife. Now, this is their simplest knife that took the most time to develop because simplicity is not simple.
yeah.
But their most popular knife is the Norseman, which has a really cool blade. Um, yep. See, there you got to sign up on his waiting list there, and there's literally a waiting list for these knives, because each one is individually customized.
Wow.
There's no two alike. Where's the gallery? Uh, I'm trying to find the gallery. Um, let's see. Okay, archives. Maybe this. All right. Here's
Mm.
here are some of the knives that they have done in the past, and they got a lot of different designs. And look at this. Let's see, look at the shape of this blade, and every bit of that is done on the CNC. All of the machining for the blade bevels and the whole 9 yards, and then it's polished at the end, to get the edge, um, the final edge. But these things are just amazing. There's a lot of detail, like this little button here, the pivot
Yeah.
has their logo engraved on it, with very, very, very tiny end mills. And let's see, look at the different
Yeah, I like that.
anodizing and
Yeah.
that goes under this. Anyway, that's but again, it's a $1,000 knife. But it's a quality product, so enough guys have bought these to make it. So but yeah, there's literally, oh, that was the one I liked. um uh yeah, I just like the look of this one. I don't know why. And there was one more. This one has Damascus steel for the blade. Damasteel. Uh, that's this pattern
I
comes.
like that.
That pattern comes from the way that the metal was folded in layers as it was um, in the forge, or whatever, on the blacksmith. Um, they'll cut it several times. They'll smash it down, and they'll do a whole bunch of things before you get to the finished piece of metal that they make the blade of. And this is the patterns you see from all the different layers in it. It's just really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yep. Anyway, that's Grimm's One Knives. I don't think they have a let me see. No, they don't have any pictures of their store or anything, or their factory here. But all that's on their YouTube channel. If you go to Grimm's One Knives, um, you can look at any of their thousands of videos that are out there or whatever. So yeah, kind of cool stuff.
That's amazing.
hmm very cool stuff. Um,
I've never tried milling steel. I haven't. I've done the aluminum, but I haven't done any type of steel.
I've done steel, um, different speeds and feeds. It's slower
Okay.
than aluminum, but it's just another metal, really. If once you know the speeds and feeds and the um, feed per tooth and all of that, you know surface feet per minute and all of that, you're good. And fortunately, a lot of that can be looked up.
Okay.
Um, Another YouTuber has a what's it called? Um, perfect cut. I think it's called Perfect Cut or something like that. Um, Essentially, it was a database of known bits, known machines, known feed rates. Um, and it's John Saunders, the other YouTuber, and that was one of his products. I think that might be the name of the product, Perfect Cut or something like that. But it was basically that. It was a piece of software that take the guesswork out. Here's
hmm
proven cut. There we go.
What is it? Proven cut.
Yeah, I think that was it, because it literally, if you didn't have the documentation to back up the cut, it wasn't going in the list. Uh,
Okay.
you know, Came in handy for those guys. We don't have a similar thing for woodworking. I wish we did. Um, But hey, there's your next $1 million idea. Cost you $1 million to make it. Yeah,
Huh.
that'd be so hard to gather enough data on the different routers that are out there to make it worthwhile to the general public,
Yeah, yeah, that
especially with all those different brands from China.
pretty much they gonna run the same.
Yeah.
They can pretty much because what I found out they gonna have one of four motors that they're gonna use. Either they're gonna use Lee Shine, your Scour, uh Delta,
DMM. Yeah.
Yako.
Hmm.
Yeah. And pretty much any of them with the lead shines, they're gonna pretty much run the same. They're gonna be
Hmm.
the same everything.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So yeah, we live in interesting times. There's a lot of technology coming out really fast.
yeah, I remember um when I bought my machine, it
Hmm.
was probably one of the first ones that went over 3 horsepower that was single phase.
Hmm.
You know, so I have a 6 horsepower. And then the next one was a 9 horsepower that required 3 phase,
Hmm.
now single phase. And I think you could do 11 horsepower with single phase. So they are really, I mean, it's just the technology here is just growing. Now, some companies
Hmm.
don't, they don't accept it. They still try to stay within their range. Uh,
Hmm.
but it's out there.
Yeah. Something I mentioned last a few weeks ago in a chat with you, and maybe on air. I don't remember now. Um, so I mentioned that Gwiki, or however it's pronounced, Gwiki,
Oh, G Winky. Mm-hmm.
yeah, uh, had come out with a 6-in-1 laser machine that was had a CO2 tube in it and a welder,
Right.
fiber in it. These guys got reached $1 million in funding in 7 hours.
Wow.
So far, they're double the initial amount. There's
Okay.
15 days to left to go on this, but I thought it was kind of interesting because it's got a CNC gantry system that
Okay.
comes with it, a laser welder, which is also a laser cutter. It will do laser cleaning, which you mentioned before, which was the removing the rust.
I like that.
You can take the laser head out of this box and use it handheld.
Okay.
And
I
it
like that.
also has a CO2 laser cutter in it, which you can also laser engrave. So you can cut wood or metal or whatever you want with this machine. It's not small.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it's not small at all. Um, but that's roughly what they're going for. It's as far as that amount of functionality, that's a steal.
Yeah.
I don't know what the final pricing would be on it. Um, but because it's always cheaper on Kickstarter than it will
Right.
be when it gets out into the wild. But again, I was talking 2 shows ago about this, how these laser welders were making amazing welds, handheld and everything, and
Are,
everybody seems to be raising the bar.
are they the only one that offer
Are they the only ones who offer what
that? That 6-in-1
at the moment?
okay.
But I'm sure somebody else will come up with a competitor to this one, particularly after they see the numbers. The, huh, you know, 7 hours to 1 million. Yeah, we're down. Let's
Right.
make that thing. Um, but yeah, they're 6 and 1. So somebody else will come up with something similar. Uh,
I hope
10 millimeter
I hope
carbon steel.
I hope they get their money worth, and I hope they
Yeah,
get the machine.
yeah. I know you had some reservations, but yeah, I'm just saying this is looking pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
Servo
nice.
motors, servo motors,
Yeah,
and
that's
linear guides. Yeah.
wait,
Um,
they said 1G? Wait.
yep. Acceleration up to 1G.
Um, wait a minute. I think aren't they up to 5Gs now?
I do not know.
I think they are. I think they're up to 5G. Give me a moment. I think Upper Log and Troy Tech. I know Troy Tech brag about it a lot. Let me see.
But that's for just a strict CO2 laser, though, right?
Yeah.
See, this one is a combination that cuts steel and
Oh yeah, that would make it.
aluminum and everything. So probably a different set of parameters.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. That would make. I mean, that would make sense.
Hmm. 800 millimeters per second working speed, it says. Uh,
800 millimeters per second.
hmm.
Let me see.
I'm not saying this is the ace. This is the solution. I'm saying it's an interesting.
Yeah, I definitely
Product.
like the I definitely like what they're offering. Let me
I
see.
just wouldn't have room for a beast this big.
Yeah, that look really big. That look like it's like what 36 or
Well,
48?
yeah, 54 inches wide.
Oh,
It'll handle
54.
a sheet. So I don't know what the dimensions of the machine is. Uh, but yeah, anyway. Uh, but I think it's cool that you can do both wood and metal in the same machine and acrylic. Um, I'll,
Yeah, 5G for the lasers.
yeah, 5G is the
Yeah.
speed. Yeah. So anyway, interesting, interesting stuff.
I do
So that,
like that. That is nice.
yep, there was this one, and then there was the other one I showed you last week. Um, that was a fiber laser and a diode laser all in one. So that's a 2-in-1 machine. This
Okay.
is yeah, but that one is desktop size versus this behemoth. I can just see the truck driving up to the house.
Phew. That's not
And
bad though. 11. What they want? They want 11 for it.
yeah,
That's
what
not.
was it? 11.99,
Yeah, twelve
nine
thousand
ninety nine.
dollars.
Yeah, but you could just buy the laser cutter,
Yeah.
or I mean the fiber laser, uh, or you could buy it with um, they had the ability to kind of
Oh, okay.
choose what you wanted.
They had different
Um,
packages for it.
yeah, you could get the pro package, or you could get the
So they probably offer that if you pledge, if you click on the pledge, it'll probably tell you.
yeah. Here we go. So try to move this out of the way.
Oh, there it is. $2,000 or $3,000.
3,000 for just the laser, 800
Yeah,
watt,
800 watt.
and then there
I
was.
don't know what that is, but 800 watt.
Wait a minute. Now, how do I scroll this up? Hmm.
Oh, stroll in the middle. Kind of, yeah,
There
click
we
on.
go. There we go. All right. was trying to figure out how to scroll the middle. So that's the 800 watt. Then there's
Oh,
the
yeah,
1200
1200
watt,
watt. Oh,
which is 34.99.
what is that? Oh, okay, so that comes. Hmm.
So this is just the laser and the CNC part, I believe. Okay. And then 800 watt fiber laser plus CO2. So this is the combined one. 24 by 24 cutting area.
Okay.
88999. And then the M2 Pro, same price, but with a 1200 watt. Interesting. I have to
Dang,
look at
1200. I wonder what. Huh.
and 99.
I wonder what that'll cut. 1200 watt. Oh, let's see.
80 watt.
1200 watt fiber laser. That should go through
It
a
told
half.
us earlier up there. Yeah. I'm trying to get down to the max, to the top of the 11,000 one.
Oh,
Uh, let's see, 1099. Here we go. So this is their Ultra, which is the 1200 watt laser, 130 CO2. Okay, that other one was smaller. I didn't realize 4 by 24. This one is 54 by 36.
that's a big machine.
Yeah,
That's a big machine.
yeah. So is that the top of the line? 99, 54 or 36. This is confusing. Uh 99. Okay. So different. Okay, this was based on when you got it delivered. Ooh, September. Hmm.
Close.
It was early. Okay. September. Looks like you get it after you put down your 12.
That's a gamble. I don't know why. Well, I'm saying that, but I mean,
Mhm.
I put that down to get my machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's exciting times, and that's a heck of a machine, theoretically. But based on what I saw at the machine show, from all those different laser cutters from all those different vendors, you know, they pretty much had that part of it figured out. The
Hmm.
fiber laser. They're let's see, that fiber laser is that. Yeah. Well, the laser welder, laser cutter, laser cleaner, laser engraver, all in. Yes.
That'd be a hard decision to make because I like the welder. I definitely like the cleaner. And then you have what you said, the cutter.
Yeah. Yeah. The when you buy that unit, the $4,000 unit with the
Yeah,
with the laser handle, it does the cutting, cleaning, and the welding.
I can do that. I
Yeah,
can
I mean,
probably,
you could just have that,
yeah.
from any number of different sources. Uh,
And that how much that was? That was like $3,000
yeah, something like that.
for 800 watt, and
Yeah,
then
and
probably
then
like
it was
5,000
34. I thought it was like 34 for the.
for the 1,200.
Yeah, I didn't close it out. So it was 28.99 for the 800 watt, and it was 34.99 for the 1200.
Okay, and
Hmm.
then you can't get the 1,800 until you get up to the whole system, right?
I didn't see an 1800. Was there one?
I think so. That was the 11,000.
Let me. Yeah, by that time I had gotten 11,000 is still 1200
Okay.
watt, I think. I didn't see an 18. Uh, yeah, I'm not seeing an 18,
Okay.
but there may be. You never know.
Hmm.
Um,
That still cuts pretty thick.
mhm. And they do a good job. It's not as if uh, I'm no welding expert. I
Yeah.
just know that the welds look good, and when the guy was trying to bang them apart with a hammer, and he put them in the vise, and tried to rip them apart, and all the welds were holding.
I mean, that's perfect for science stuff. I mean, shoot, you can do. I was just trying to think of all you can do all kind of science stuff. You can
Hmm.
anything like bicycle frames, stuff like that. It'll definitely do all that.
The um, most of the welding done in at SpaceX laser welded.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I didn't realize that until I saw a documentary last week. Um, so,
I would
uh,
like to get my dad one. He would
mhm,
he would he would have a field day with it. He loved that type of stuff.
yeah, uh, 3 million pounds of cargo to space. Somebody asked me that question last week. That's the answer.
3 million pounds.
Yeah,
That's
a
that's what they
cargo.
pick up. Oh, wow. Oh,
Um,
I
I,
think 3 million.
yeah,
3 million.
I think I think that's ends up being, what is that, 1,000 tons or something? No, not 1,000 ton. Um, anyway, it worked out to 3 million pounds when it was all said and done. Um, you do the math real quick.
Wait, 1.5 million tons?
Hmm. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it was a huge amount compared to every other craft that has gone into space, but I'm not sure that they're ever going to realize that true capacity.
I can't even imagine what I don't even know what will weigh that much.
Uh,
I, I don't know what could you even compare that? What could you compare that to? A
uh,
cargo
uh,
ship?
skyscraper. I don't
Yeah.
know.
What is it? Icon
Simple.
of the sea? And that new
Yeah.
Well, it
Uh,
ain't total of 3 million pounds. It's the weight with G force.
hmm.
So if you have 1 million pounds and you got 3 G's, it's 3 million.
Mm.
And that's
oh,
how that works.
okay, okay. All right. That's still a lot
That's
though.
my whole.
Yeah, that's
It's a hell
still
of a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's still a lot. Because
So
I mean
if you want to get 100,000 pounds into space, it's going to have 10 G's on it. That's 1 million pounds to get that speed up there.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's the same as the load factor on the wings of a
Yep,
plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
more or less.
Mm.
Huh. Wow, that's a lot.
Um, bear in mind that the ship that they're building right now is not the final ship. They actually intend to go much bigger in diameter and number of engines down the line. So I just can't imagine it, but that's what they're thinking. They got to lift a lot of cargo up into space, and if they intend to stay,
Hmm.
um, you know,
It amazes me that they can get those engines to stop and start at will all at the same time. To me,
yeah,
that's just you got 39 engines all starting at the same time.
yeah, yeah. It just boggles the mind. Um, Part of the challenge will be when they finally get to Mars or to the moon. Um, Only the upper portion of the rocket is actually going to be there. They will be able theoretically, to take off again from Mars with just the upper stage and reach, you know,
Or
reach orbit and, start home. And that just boggles the mind, because the gravity's so much lighter, they can do that. They don't need the booster. Uh,
when are they projecting to do this?
oh, last year.
Oh,
No, you think I'm joking? Uh, no, I think they said all of this was supposed to actually happen this year, but that was back before the pandemic hit and back before they blew up a few of them and everything, and they got stalled by the FAA so that Boeing could catch up, so get their ship in the
And,
air. Yeah,
and the EPA started messing with them, and
yeah. So yeah, they're still talking this decade, but I'm thinking it's next decade. Especially since the fallout between the president and the CEO. Uh, Actually, he's not the CEO anymore. Um, Glenn Shotwell is. He's some other role in the company, but Elon owns SpaceX, so yeah.
wow. Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of theatrics going on with that, so he can get some of his credibility back because a lot of people started hating him a lot because of his
Hmm. Yeah.
of his health. So
Gee, I'm gonna find out where the. Never mind. I'm not even going there. Um, Needless to say, there are those who will hate, those who will love anybody. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. You're in one
yeah,
camp or the other, and I don't care.
yeah, I love everybody.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love them all. No room for hate because all it does is burn up your life force and cause anxiety.
Hmm. I can
So
only think of one person that I can't say yet that I love, but I've been trying. How's that? And yeah, it's only one, but I still need to work on that before you, I need to work on that because there's got to be something lovable about them, and I got to work on that.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not perfect.
Nelson Mandela said, no one was born to hate."
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but
yeah. Man,
yeah,
I wish I could tell you all about that stuff. I started
that's
speaking and
okay.
realized I should shut up. So,
That's okay. I had the beta test for Lightburn, and you know
hmm,
it is what it is.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Lightburn Lightburn is a very complete program. I'm a little bit surprised just how powerful it is.
hmm.
yeah. Steady has been progressing. I might, like I say, I don't have anything.
To
I
run
don't
it.
have, I don't have anything to run it on.
What a great excuse to buy another laser. Your wife could use another laser, right?
Bill.
Bill.
I already got my big one supposed to be coming.
Uh-huh. What did you buy?
Oh, that's my cam. That's my cam tech. That's my four
Hmm.
by eight. It's a 4x8 50 watt.
Hmm.
Yeah. It runs on Win CNC.
Hmm.
Yeah. Matter of fact, this is the computer for it right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Parts arriving early?
Well, it's I had it I had it since I had my shop. And at one point I pretty much gave it away.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy contacted me and said that he didn't have no use for it. He had no room to keep it. He wasn't interested in selling it because he didn't want to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't have the room for it neither. And then my best friend offered me the room to put it in his garage, so I went and got it.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
So I want to do some more. It's an older machine. It's like 2001. So
Mm-hmm.
2000. So it's chain driven. Um,
Hmm.
but it still works. It has Win CNC. I don't even think it's the first well, it's the first version, but I don't even think it's like version one. I think it's like version point five, something like to that extent. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it runs. I mean it runs flawless. Never had an issue out of it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I'm thinking about redoing it. I want to redo it. Probably slap some servo motors on it and get away from that chain driven system.
Mm-hmm.
Probably go with some integrated driver type motors. Um,
Yeah.
Reach out to Win CNC and let them do it just an update on the daughter board. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, 4 foot by 8 feet. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's a definitely a good machine. I used to
And
do all my
it's a
headstones on it.
it's a laser, you said? Okay,
Like,
yeah. All right.
yep.
Yep. How many
Yeah.
watts?
50 watt.
Yep. Yep.
It has the Sinrad laser on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As long as you're changing everything out, you get a 100 watt and new power supply and uh
I I I thought about putting the a fiber laser on until I realized like how much you had to go through,
how much what?
how much you had to go through to get them set up. The
Oh,
head is inexpensive, but it's like the power supply, and now you have to go to I think it's like what two. I don't know if it's 220 or it's three phase. I'm not sure.
almost all of the ones that I saw were 220.
The 220? Okay.
Well, let me verify that. Just happen to have the spec sheet here. Uh, voltage. Let's see. Wobble operating temperature. Wait. Dimensions. I'll find it. It's in here. But
Yeah.
keep talking. Uh,
Yeah, this one here, mine's is 120. It's 120 single phase.
yeah. Uh,
Uh,
I am like 90% sure it was 220 or 110, but I gotta find that in print to say for sure.
okay. Yeah.
Um,
It's really unique the way the way it runs. I haven't seen a system set up like that particular controller. Uh
220 VA,
oh,
220.
220.
Yep.
Okay. Um, so what you do is it runs strictly on G code.
Hmm.
So take you take a photo and you process it, whether you're using Photograve or Photoshop or Corel, um, and you convert it into either grayscale or Dether type format, You just save it as a bitmap or a JPEG.
Mm-hmm.
Once you save it to the hard drive, when you bring up WinCNC, you retrieve that photo and it automatically from that information, which I don't even understand how it does it, it generates the G code
Mm-hmm.
from that bitmap. I haven't seen no other controller do that.
Hmm.
And the quality is phenomenal, as if it would have came off one of your US lasers. I mean, if you did two comparison, and I used to do it all the time because I had like three different lasers in the shop
Mm-hmm.
at one time. Um, but if you did a comparison, you could not tell which
Mm-hmm.
one came from what laser. It's I mean it really does. It's the only thing it's slow. It is slow, not very fast.
Hmm. Ooh, yeah, something I hadn't seen before.
Oh, what's that?
Remember my earlier search? Somebody says that there is a Mach 3 light burn and Gerbil workaround. Uh, if you're using Mach 3 and Ethernet Smooth Stepper, you can use this guy's code to run light burn in Mach 3.
Interesting.
Interesting. I did not know that. Um, more research needed at this point to find out if, what the details are or whether that's worthwhile. Um,
You can also use G540 to run a laser.
yes, Gecko G540.
Yeah, here's the link to a guy to a common setup.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, that's in
It's
the
in chat.
chat. And I'll copy this to the. I seem to have screwed that up. I'll copy that and put it in copy link. There we go. Put it inside of the Facebook group so folks watching from home can use that.
There you go.
Yeah. Something went wrong. What's up with that Facebook? All right, good. Now it's saved somewhere else other than the chat, which will disappear after after this
Yeah,
thing. So, um, hmm. Yeah, it's cool stuff out there. Anyway, we spent quite a bit of time today on actual routers
Oh
before
yeah.
before we went off topic into lasers and such. But yeah, life is good. Um, one last detour. I started laying out the CAD files for that fourth axis
Okay.
that I was discussing the other day. So um, hoping maybe next week will be the time to get started cutting that. But depends on if I get the lights done. So anyway,
I don't know. Just
that's
get
pretty
right.
much it. Yeah. Kind of sorry we didn't see Ned today.
yeah.
Yeah. He happened to pick up a nice servo and uh, driver for a steal. Uh, he keeps his eyes peeled for the all those special deals. Uh, he's never done anything with the servos, I think he said. So he's gonna enjoy experimenting with that.
Yeah. Well, here's another link for using Mach 3 to run a laser.
Mm-hmm. JTech Photonics.
Yeah.
Yep. Righty. And here's the other one. Yeah, very cool. Getting to be close to that time. If you gentlemen have any other things that you're thinking about, or just hot topics that you wanted to discuss, now would be a good time. But I see Tally's already. Oh, back. There you go. Mention it. But yeah, it's getting close to the hour.
Okay.
Uh, so, uh, any last minute thoughts?
Nope.
No, nope.
I'm not used to this. Usually we go for at least another 10 minutes with Ned here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always good stuff that he should have come up with an hour earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, nothing, nothing new. I guess we'll save it for
Mm.
next two.
Well, I got my bed installed in my camper, and I got the lights turned on in there, air conditioner hooked up. I'm working on the back hatch, got it almost sealed, and I've got the entire carcass bolted down to the frame on the trailer. And tomorrow I'm going to turn it around and pull it down the road a little bit, make sure it's safe, and make sure the weight and balance is right. So by next Wednesday, I'm going to be gone up north, um, fishing and hunting for gemstones up in Lake Superior.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Uh,
Yep, and it was snowing up there 2 weeks ago, so it's
do you
almost
remember
a tundra.
do you remember how long ago it was that you started this project?
I started about 2 years ago, and then I had to stop because of winter, and then I had to stop because my honey was getting her hip operated on,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to go visit my son in Texas and go visit the Lockheed Martin's site down there and try to get some work going. And then winter came again and I had to stop again. And then this spring, my wife had her other hip redone. So, and now that she's off working again, I'm spending all my time these last couple of weeks getting it done. So it's actual time has only been about like maybe 15 weeks, but
Mm-hmm.
stretched out over 2 years because of interferences with life.
Mm-hmm. Life's what
Uh,
happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Yeah.
yeah, and of course, there's always a client trying to mess with my recreation. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
makes it no fun.
Yeah. Well,
I think
be safe out there with the bears and the bees and the uh everything else you're going to run into up there in the northern peninsula there or whatever. No, what's it called?
they got,
Upper Peninsula. There we go.
yep, they got mountain lions up there, bears, moose, and ice and snow, tundra,
So
wolverines.
I want to be.
Well, try and avoid them if you can, and see their friendlier critters,
Right.
and
All right.
then have dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to take photos of them, but I definitely wouldn't want to be riding up on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, yep. So, all right. Safe travels, Kurt.
Yep.
Absolutely. Uh,
Are you saying this Wednesday or next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday.
Okay, a week from now. So
Oh,
we'll
wait a minute. The 17th will be Tuesday, so I won't be able to see you guys unless I'm up the UP where they have maybe they have wired internet up there. I don't know.
I heard there's a couple of bear families up there that have internet. Then you if you can get in their cave.
they got a Starlink.
Yeah, yeah. You got to get the password first, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah. Good luck. We'll be rooting for you.
Mhm.
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay, later.
All
All right.
right. Have a good night, everybody. Join us next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. For another CNC Router Mixer. We're looking forward to speaking with you.
All right.
Bye bye. Have a good day,
Bye.
Taylor.
You too. Later.